Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Now today I'm going to be making Treacle Tart. Now I have made this before and put it on my blog, but I had a request recently for a video of Treacle Tart, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And basically it's a pastry which is then filled with a mixture of breadcrumbs, golden syrup, a little bit of lemon juice and an egg. And then it's topped with a lettuce pastry as well. So it's quite simple to make, really, and we'll get straight on and we'll do the pastry. So for the pastry I have 275 grams of plain flour, which I'm going to put straight into a food processor. And I also have 30 grams of caster sugar, and that can go in as well. And I'm just going to push that around in the processor. And I have 140 grams of butter, which is chilled, and I've cubed that, and I'll put that into the processor as well. And I also have 4 tablespoons of water, although I may not need all of that, and that's ice cold water. So the first thing to do is to process the flour, butter and sugar until it forms a fine breadcrumb-like texture. And that seems to be good enough already. So what I'm going to do then is pour in about 3 tablespoons of water, and I'm going to process it just until the mixture starts to clump together. And if I need the extra water, I will use it. So that is just clumping together now. So what I need to do is to pull that together into a dough, and I didn't use all of the water, maybe a teaspoon left. So then I'm going to tip the mixture out onto the counter, and I'm going to pull that together into a dough, and it should just pull together quite easily by squeezing it, and that's good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that in cling film and chill it for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes we'll come back and roll it out, and we'll line a 23 centimetre 9-inch tart tin and we'll get on to make the filling. Okay, I'm back with you and I've let the pastry chill. Now I've cut about 1/3 of it off and put that back in the fridge. So the remaining 2/3 I have on my floured work surface, and I've greased a 23 centimetre flan tin or pie tin. So that's ready. So now I'm going to roll this pastry out to line that tin. And that's about right, I think. It's not very round, but we can patch it as necessary. So I'm going to just pick this up and I'm going to place it onto the flan tin. Like that. And I'm just going to push it in and up against the flutes. And then what I'm going to do is take a knife and just cut off the excess, which I will use with the remaining pastry that I have in the fridge to make the top. And then I'll take a fork. I'm just going to prick that like that, and I'm going to put that back in the fridge to chill while the oven preheats and while we make our mixture. But first of all, I'll roll out the remaining pastry. So for the remaining pastry, I'm going to roll that out and I'm going to cut that into strips to form a lattice. Now you could do an interwoven lattice if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. It just takes too much time and it's tricky to work with. So what I'm going to do is just roll this out so that I can cut about 18 strips out of it. And I think that's actually about enough. So I'm going to simply cut some strips like that. So I'm going to put that in the fridge, then I'll set up to make the filling and we'll get on. Now what I'm going to also do now is to set my oven at 200 Celsius, that's 180 Celsius with a fan, 400 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to put a baking tray in ready to put the tart tin on top when we bake it, and that will be ready to bake after we've filled and covered the tart. Okay, I'm back with you, and first of all I have a confession to make, and that is that I finished making the treacle tart and I forgot to press record on the video cameras when I was doing the filling. So I've actually made the pastry again and I've done everything again so that I can record filling this tart, and then I will insert that into the video later on. So for the filling I have 150 grams of breadcrumbs, and I'm using white ones, but you can use brown, and you could use a mixture of both if you wanted to. And I have 350 grams of golden syrup, which I've been warming slightly to make it easier to tip out. So that's 350 grams of golden syrup. I have 50 grams of melted butter, 1 large egg, that would be extra large in the USA, half a teaspoon of salt, and the zest of 1 lemon, and I'm also going to use 3 tablespoons of double cream. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put the butter and the golden syrup into this larger bowl. I'm just going to mix those together a little bit. Just to get that butter a little bit combined. And it started to combine a little bit. That's good enough for the time being, because what I'm going to do also is to beat the egg with 3 tablespoons of double cream, and then I'm going to add that into the golden syrup mixture. So I'll just whisk that together a little bit. I'm going to tip that into the golden syrup mixture. And I'm going to add into that the lemon zest and the salt. And give those a good whisk. And this will break up and thin out the golden syrup. And then into that I'm going to add the 150 grams of breadcrumbs, and I'm going to just stir those in until they're all nicely combined with the wet mixture. And with that nicely combined, I'm going to pour that into our chilled pastry case. And then I'm going to level that off. Just like that. And then I'm going to just slightly dampen the edge of the pastry. Like that. And then I'm going to put our lattice strips. Now I've cut these ones a bit wider than my original one, but they will still work. Like that. I'm just going to cut off some of the pastry, but not all of it, some of the overlaps. And then that will go into the oven, and the oven is at 200 Celsius, that's 180 Celsius with a fan, 400 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to bake it for 25 minutes, and then after 25 minutes I'm going to reduce the heat and bake it for a further 20 minutes at 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And then when it's baked and it's cooled down, I'll be back with you and I'll show you the results. Okay, well, I'm back with you, and our treacle tart has baked, and I've allowed it to cool down. It's still a bit warm, but I've allowed it to cool down quite a bit. And I'm just going to try it, but with some double cream, not even whipped cream, just double cream. You could serve it with custard, which is a traditional way in England, and it would be very good. But we'll have a little taste. It is very, very good, and pastry is cooked nicely, and you've got that lovely soft treacly filling, and I could actually taste just a hint of that lemon as well. So this is very, very good. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that will take you to the recipe, and I'll also put a link to the recipe below this video, and I will be back with you with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.